Okay, Gary?
Your Honor, if I may, Dan makes some good points. Angie's got to catch a plane at 7, so I'll be brief. The billing situation we've been looking at in the finance department, we've talked about implementing a different system. It's fairly expensive. We want to look at all the alternatives, but we'd like to have more information on the bills, not just for sanitation, but also people could look at their annual consumption of water and how it compares to last year and so on and so forth. The issue with the bulky waste site, fully understand, and it shouldn't be that theft of service should impact individual ratepayers, but it involves a bit more of a comprehensive program, pilot program, if you will. What you're talking about is because people with a mattress typically aren't going to want to pay to dispose of the mattress. They're going to want to just take it somewhere and dump it off. Otherwise, they'd take it out to the transfer stations. So it may be something that, in order to protect the ratepayers a little bit, Tim can work out something where we can try a pilot program. It'll take some thought, I know. But typically those free sanitation programs tend to be abused, and you get folks who should be paying for their sanitation or solid waste disposal that just want to go dump it off, which is what's happening. And it shouldn't be on the back of the ratepayer either. Fully understand that.
Well, thank you, Dan. Have we got others that would like to speak? Okay, I'll turn over to council then. Walter, and then I'll come to you, Jim.
Gary, what's the current reserve amount?
Excuse me?
The current amount in reserves?
Oh, well, the current amount in reserves is the 90 days.
No, how much dollars?
Oh, I'd have to give, do you have it, Angie?
It may not be up to date.
It's great, close enough.
I'll log on if you want to continue.
Angie's been playing with that number. I'm sorry I don't have my budget book in front of me.
Here, then.
I just wanted to ask Tim if he knows, like, the collection and the disposal as a separate entities, if you take this 4.4% and add it to the 3% that's on the collection increase, I don't know what percentage of each of those are or how that number plays out in terms of the total increase of garbage collection for the next year, say, if we adopt this.
The 4.4 wouldn't be added to the 3% that's already being assessed to collection. We'll hold that rate for collection, 3% a year through 2019.
Right.
4.4 would just be for tipping fees at the solid waste processing facility.
So as a percentage of somebody's bill, what percentage is collection and what percentage is disposal at this point?
I can't tell you right off the top of my head. I know ours is broken down by base, volume, and when they did the rate study, they allocated some disposal fees to collection, but most of it's the operation and the contractual thing. So collection itself does have some disposal allocations within our rates here in Moscow already.
What I'm trying to get a handle on is if you add the two together, combine the two, what's the overall rate increase per household? What are you looking at in terms of the 3% that goes in, 3% the collection's going up, the 4.4 portion that's going into disposal? When you average those and temper them for what percentage of each, what's the total increase? Is it
You're talking to a county resident?
3.5%? No, I'm talking about a city resident.
City's collection.
Yeah, our rates aren't going up 4.4%.
Just the county.
Yes, this is a creature of our contract for disposal with the county and the other cities in Latah County. And the answer to your question, Walter, is just shy of $1 million. It's about a $3.5 million revenue fund.
Okay, so about a third of it's going to have to be used to play catch-up. About 300,000.
Yes, that's true. Okay. We may reallocate some capital funding to do that if necessary. Again, the alternative 3 uses not as little of the fund balance as alternative 1, but alternative 1 has a 14% increase to it. As Tim said, and I think it really bears repeating, and that is that when we signed those contracts, we were operating under the best information we had at the time. And it became clear just within the last year that that balance is not there. So The city of Moscow has a great reputation for fulfilling its contracts, and nobody is suggesting that we would breach a contract with any of our partners. On the other hand, I appreciate our partners coming forward and saying, hey, we understand, got a pretty good deal so far, really don't want to face what would be a 16.5% increase in 3 years. So this is a way for both of us to come out on the better end. Because if you look at alternative 4, if we stay the course and just fulfill our contracts, we'll be using $374,000 of reserves.
Jim, I'm sorry, I don't think I understood your question, but I think what you're after is, our collection rates based off the 2012 rate study called for 3% increases. Actually, beginning in 2014, we were able to hold off until 15 because we were over collecting at that time. So by doing the increases starting in 2015 and continuing through 2019, that covers our portion of the disposal costs within that collection rate.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Just to be
you.
clear that it was separate between
Correct.
what the increase that was going on in the city versus what's going on in the county. And
Correct.
Their collection rates are their own business.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Bill?
Are the rates going to be studied again with the point of view of how much reduction in volume might occur due to recycling?
Absolutely, and Angie and I had discussed this before the meeting today about a number of different things that we need to start tracking closer when we do the next rate study. I mean, all of these programs, including the roll cart collection system and the single stream, are all fairly new, but we're starting to gather data, and we're going to have a sit-down meeting and just kind of line out some different items that would be nice to start tracking at this point. So when we do another rate study in the early 2020s, I would hope that we have some of this data in place. We plug it into our model and see where things shake out.
Would it become evident if the impact of recycling is significantly altering the costs of the programs to do a revision of the pricing to the consumers sometime along the way?
I would think so.
Well, we should know, you should be able to have that availability on the monies as we're going along. If we're over receiving more money than we need because as a result of that, then we can lessen it right up. Right?
Absolutely.
Tim keeps tabs on the volumes, the weights, everything from a month to month. As we're projecting out when we build the budget and that sort of thing, if there is a significant drop-off or surplus or whatever, we'll be able to look at that, and if we need to retool midway, in other words, the next budget year, we can certainly do that. And you'll notice the contract that you have in your packet, very similar to the contracts we have in with our long haul and with LSI, all say if there's something weird that happens, if the federal government comes out with some weird regulation that nobody anticipated, you have the right to come in and ask that we amend our contract to cover that unanticipated cost. So we take care of that as we move along.
Walter?
Angie, so the proposed contract, and if there was a packet on this, I missed it.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
wanna see it, I can give it to you.
I got what Angie put out today, but I didn't see the other one. Is the proposed contract with the counties and the cities, I'm not going to sit here and read it right now. Is it to use the entire projection on alternative 3 in the table on page 6 of your handout?
Correct.
So it would go all the way out to the 2, 2, 2, 2, and 0.
Yep. Actually, the contracts expire in 2023, but what we would anticipate is doing another rate study update in early 2021, maybe recalibrate at that point. And it takes a year, year and a half to redo these contracts, so we'll be working through a new term toward 2023.
Contract that's being proposed would be alternative 3 as presented in the table out to the time frame that's, okay.
Walter, it's under Article 11, modification rates on B, and it is specific to what you just said, and just what you asked about, and it goes all the way through 2020, and then adds a 2% on to 2023.
Okay.
Yep, and strikes the other out.
If I may, Your Honor. Also, as I said at the beginning, this is built on longevity. You can't, as Dave McGraw talked about, you can't have your sanitation system in an uproar. People want to know the service is going to be there. So we just extended, this council just extended the LSI contract till 2033, 35, excuse me. So we'll have a renewal or some other alternatives come up on long-term disposal here in the next couple of years. This extends the contracts with the county and the small cities to 2022. So it really is in keeping with that long-term perspective of solid waste.
Another thing to keep in mind is our long-term disposal contract with Waste Connections also expires in 2023. So we're also looking at other alternatives for that. So the two will tie hand in hand, if you will.
Okay.
Is it okay? I'd like to move to approve the 2016 rate study update findings and amended disposal agreements with Latah County and the cities of Bovell, Dairy, Genesee, Julietta, Kendrick, Potlatch, and Troy.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Catherine and a second by Gina to approve the 2016 rate study update findings and amended disposal agreements with Latah County and the cities of Bovell, Dairy, Genesee, Julietta, Kendrick, Potlatch, and Troy. I'll start the roll with Walter.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we are finished with that, and it's approved. I'd stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?